This is Fort William, the beating heart of the Scottish Highlands. Our mountains are big and our trails are braw. Choose from fast and smooth, steep and loose, or rough and tough. They're all open and they're all free. We love bikes. Tucked into the high street is our shop, Offbeat Bikes. With so many trails to ride, we want to know if a bike that makes the climbs and miles easier can tackle some of the toughest terrain in our Fair Isle. Because if it can ride here, it can take you anywhere.
Here we are, the first day of spring in Fort William, and there's a little bit of sun over there. Let's get ready for a ride. Just give me eco mode or something. This bike weighs the same as a helium balloon, so I'm having a great time. It weighs as much as the mud that's on it, and that's a fact. Radical.
Yeah, so the weight doesn't really matter when pushing back up because you get a walk assist, so you simply push the button here and then press the plus. Off we go.
Oh, this is a breeze with a carbon fibre frame. Cool, so we wanted to find out exactly how capable these bikes were, and that meant cycling from the shop to Lundy and to the CIC hut, so that gave us a good mix of rough single track, smooth single track, steep climbs, sort of road cycling to get there, and also when we were pointing our way down the mountain we were riding some pretty steep trails that you wouldn't normally find at a trail centre, but we really wanted to see what these bikes could do, and completely blown away by both of them.
In terms of climbing, I mean, what is there to tell? It's got a motor. It makes things hell of a lot easier. Especially, well, if you're in turbo, then yeah, it's just a walk in the park. But you can obviously make it harder for yourself by sticking it in eco or in tour mode or whatever. You still have to put the effort in, but it makes it a hell of a lot easier. Less out of breath anyway.
No, you certainly were. Both bikes felt pretty planted, but I definitely noticed that you were sort of chugging away through those sections a lot more stable than I was. Whether or not that was the fact that I wasn't used to such a light bike, who knows? Yeah. But you certainly seemed to power through quite a lot of the days, which was quite surprising. So I definitely noticed myself skipping about on the more technical climbs a little bit, and whether or not that was the fact that you need to keep your cadence relatively high and keep it quite constant on a non-motored bike, so you're focused on putting that power down and also trying to keep a straight line, whereas Finlay on the technical climbs, how did you find it?
Not a problem, yeah, because of the Bosch motor it provides a very smooth kind of consistent power output. I just found that the back wheel just kept traction and just stayed in a straight line. It's just super simple, especially in the what you call it, E-MTB mode, where it fluctuates to get over those hard rocks and things like that you may come across in technical climbs. It was a pretty typical day in Fort William, as in very wet, but had absolutely no issues with the electrics because it's the full Bosch system. Everything was completely waterproof and pretty watertight. The suspension was amazing. You know, it just like, because of the weight behind it as well, it just kind of kept ploughing through all those rocky sections, and I thought when I was behind you on the trails, I thought you were skipping about a bit, kind of manoeuvring. You had the manoeuvrability of the lightweightness, but I think because I had the weight behind me, I could just plough through and keep my speed.
Yeah. So the one thing I definitely noticed when we started getting onto the more technical downhills and some of the corners was how just light and maneuverable my bike was compared to Finlay's. The Cube Stereo has incredibly short chainstays on the back, so I didn't need to focus so much on technique in regards to the bike. Does quite a lot of the work for you with how light it is. Pretty easy to throw about on those corners and get your weight shifted. How did you get on?
Yeah, so I think the e-bike could definitely keep up, but I think you still needed to be pretty much on your line choice, and you had to kind of manoeuvre it a lot more than you would as if it was a enduro bike. But because of the small wheelbase, it was quite easy to kind of flick about as e-bikes go. So.
I think it was definitely, we threw both these bikes into the deep end of things riding Turlundi trails. I think they're not the average trails around these parts, but some of the corners were a real good test for both of the bikes. So phenomenal, Finlay. I almost got a tan.
I burnt. Just looked like a red lobster.
Enduro! E-bike! No!
I know,